The air buzzed with excitement as James's party began. The spacious hall of his family mansion was filled with music, laughter, and Gracefield College's elite students. Sophia stood at the center of it all, radiant in a glittering dress that screamed wealth. Her friends Vanessa and James flanked her, feeding her ego with compliments. "I have a little surprise for tonight," Sophia said, smirking as she glanced at Emily, who had just walked in. James, following Sophia's request, had personally invited Emily, assuring her it would be a casual gathering. Emily had arrived wearing a simple but neat dress. Her braided hair was tied back and she carried herself with her usual quiet confidence. The room went silent as students turned to stare. Sophia wasted no time. Well, Emily," Sophia said loudly, her voice dripping with mockery. "Did you stop by a thrift store on your way here? Or is this vintage?" Laughter erupted and Emily felt the weight of dozens of eyes on her. Her cheeks warmed, but she took a deep breath and smiled. "Thank you for noticing, Sophia. It's vintage. Not that you will believe me." The calmness in her voice caught a few students off guard. Whispers spread through the crowd as some began to admire Emily's grace under pressure. Sophia's smirk faltered for a moment, but she quickly recovered. "Oh, I just adore how humble you are, Emily. In fact, let's make tonight more fun. How about a little competition? Let's see if you have any talents to match that confidence." The room grew quiet as all eyes shifted between the two girls. Emily looked at Sophia, her expression calm but firm. "What kind of competition?" "Anything you want," Sophia replied, shrugging. "But I'm sure we all know how this will end." James, noticing the tension, stepped in. "Let's make it fair, Sophia. Emily, do you sing or play an instrument? Maybe that could be your talent." Emily hesitated but nodded. "I can sing a little." Sophia's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Perfect. Let's give her the spotlight." She motioned toward the stage where a microphone and piano waited. Emily took the stage confidently. The room was silent, and she could feel the weight of everyone's expectations. She closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her thoughts, then began to sing. Her voice was soft and clear, carrying a heartfelt melody that filled the hall. As the song progressed, the audience grew quiet, captivated by the emotion in her voice. Even the students who had mocked her earlier found themselves listening intently. When she finished, there was a brief moment of silence before the room erupted in applause. Sophia's face darkened as she forced a smile. "Well, that was unexpected," she said, her tone strained. But the admiration in the room was undeniable. As the party continued, a tall, well-dressed young man approached Sophia. He had an air of confidence and introduced himself with a charming smile. "Hi, I'm Richard Okoro," he said, extending his hand. "You must be Sophia." Sophia's eyes lit up as she recognized the name. The Okoro family was one of the wealthiest in the region, known for their successful businesses. This was exactly the opportunity she had been waiting for. "Nice to meet you, Richard," she said, her voice sweet. "I've heard a lot about your family." "I've heard about you too," Richard replied. "Would you like to go out sometime? Maybe dinner?" Sophia's heart raced as she saw her classmates watching the exchange, their eyes wide with envy. She smiled coyly. "I'd love to." James, standing nearby, clenched his fists. He had always admired Sophia and felt a pang of jealousy as she eagerly accepted Richard's invitation. Vanessa whispered excitedly, "Sophia, this is perfect. You and Richard make a perfect pair." Sophia's mind was already working. "If I can make him fall for me, I'll secure my place in the elite forever. I just need to keep up this image for a little longer." She smiled to herself, feeling triumphant. The next day, Sophia spread a new rumor through her circle of friends. "Did you see how Emily was acting at the party?" she whispered. "She's obviously trying to snag someone rich like Alex. It's pathetic." The rumor spread quickly, and soon Emily found herself the target of more whispers and pointed stares. Students avoided her in the hallways, sneering as she walked by. But Alex wasn't having any of it. "That's enough, Sophia," Alex said sharply when he overheard her comments during lunch. "You have no right to talk about Emily like that." Sophia's face turned red with anger. "Oh, come on, Alex. I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking." No, you're spreading lies, Alex replied firmly. Emily has more character than most people here, and you know it. Sophia glared at him, her jealousy burning. Alex's open defense of Emily only made her more determined to take Emily down. Meanwhile, at the Okocha estate, Mrs. Obi overheard the rumors about Emily and Alex. She knew her daughter was behind them and felt a pang of guilt. But she said nothing, fearing that if she spoke out, she might lose her job. For years, she had worked tirelessly to provide for Sophia, even begging Mr. Okocha to let Sophia attend Gracefield. She felt her daughter was doing too much, but there was nothing she could do about it. Mrs. Obi sighed as she went about her chores, her heart heavy. She could only hope her daughter would realize the harm she was causing before it was too late. Sophia's obsession with ruining Emily had reached new heights. Her jealousy, fueled by Alex's growing admiration for Emily and the attention she received at the party, drove her to plot a way to humiliate her once and for all. One morning, Sophia marched into the dean's office, clutching her phone tightly. On the screen was a photo she had carefully manipulated to make it seem as though Emily was meeting an older man for questionable reasons. "Sir," she said, her voice laced with false concern, "I think you should know that one of your students is involved in activities that could harm the school's reputation. I thought it was my duty to bring this to your attention." The dean frowned, taking the phone from her. He examined the photo and shook his head. "I will address this immediately." After the midday assembly, the dean called Emily to his office. The room buzzed with whispers as she walked up, her head held high despite not knowing why she was summoned. "Emily Okocha," the dean said sternly, "it has come to my attention that you've been engaging in behavior unbecoming of a Gracefield student. This photo," he held up the image, "has been brought to me as evidence. Do you deny it?" Emily's eyes widened in shock. She recognized the photo instantly. It was of her uncle, who had taken her out to lunch earlier that week. "Sir," she began calmly, "that's my uncle. He's part of my family." The dean wasn't convinced. "And how do you explain this setting? Meeting older rich men and claiming they are family? This is unacceptable." Before Emily could respond further, the vice chancellor, who had overheard the commotion, stepped in. "Excuse me, Dean," he said, his voice calm but authoritative. "Before this goes any further, I must clarify something." The vice chancellor angrily confronted the dean. "Emily Okocha is the daughter of the board's largest donor, Mr. Okocha. The man in the photo is indeed her uncle, a well-respected member of their family. I suggest you verify facts before making accusations." The room fell silent. Sophia, watching from the back of the hall, couldn't hear them from the distance, but she knew her plan wasn't working. She needed a new plan. She clenched her fists, anger boiling inside her. That evening, Sophia concocted a new scheme. She decided to host a party at one of Emily's family mansions to prove she was the real heiress. Her mother, Mrs. Obi, worked as a housekeeper at the mansion, and Sophia convinced her to allow the event. "You need to do this, Mom," Sophia commanded. "I need this. I can't let them think I'm not who I say I am." Mrs. Obi hesitated, fear in her eyes. "Sophia, this is dangerous. If Mr. Okocha finds out, I could lose my job." "I'll make sure no one finds out," Sophia insisted. "Daddy is just a driver, but he could Mr. Okocha's cars to take me to school. Just one night, those rich people have so many houses they would not know one of them is being used." Mrs. Obi sighed, reluctantly agreeing. "Fine, but be careful. If Mr. Okocha discovers this—" "I won't let that happen," Sophia said confidently, already imagining how impressed her classmates would be at the sight of the grand mansion. The party began with grand